Today's topic of discussion is emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence is something which nobody really talks about in society. It's one of the main factors that determine whether or not you're going to have a healthy longevity relationship with both men and women. So, in society, right, a lot of guys, they are people who have low emotional intelligence. They don't have any control over themselves, and they are constantly reacting to life. So these people here lack emotional intelligence. So we're going to be discussing the key concepts of why it is so important to have emotional intelligence and how you can effectively use that. And then that way there, you're going to be able to attract multiple women. So first point is control. So you as a man, right, you need to be in control of your own behavior. Now, a lot of guys, when they get into a relationship, they start telling a woman what to do. They start to say, oh, you need to do this and that. And then when they don't behave according to what they tell them, so the instructions that they give to the woman, they start to get all butthurt. They start to get all moody. They start to say, oh, this and that. They start to argue with the woman. The problem is, you can't control anyone's behavior. You as a man can only control your own behavior. So it goes back to it, guys. When you're in a relationship or whenever you speak to a woman for marriage purposes, you gotta let her know, look, this is my principles, this is my boundaries, and this is what I'm expecting in the relationship. So if a woman doesn't wanna cooperate and she's not willing to comply with you, you can't do anything about that. So don't be that type of guy who's trying to be all controlling, trying to be all, impulsive. You're trying to get all physical with a woman. It just shows that you're somebody who doesn't have self-control and you don't have control over your emotions. And this is what the problem is in society. A lot of guys, they don't have control over their emotions. They're getting triggered over the smallest of things. So when you're getting triggered over the smallest of things, right, women see that and they sense weakness. So that's why it's really important to see that as, okay, I can only control my own actions. So if a woman is not responding and she's not responding the way I want her to behave and want her to respond to me, guess what? I'm going to remove myself from that woman. I'm going to apply no contact to her. I'm going to check the behavior. I'm going to do it one time only. So check the behavior and let her know that you don't appreciate how she's not cooperating with you. And then after that, if she's not willing to cooperate with you, then you just have to do no contact. What people are trying to do is, in society, they're trying to control things that they cannot control, and they're trying to control things outside of society as well. So outside in terms of day-to-day life, there's certain things, right, you can't control. Let's say the weather, a lot of guys, they're like, oh yeah, today was raining, that's why I got soaked. It was just like, no, you didn't put on a jacket. A lot of guys, what they're doing is they're not wearing jackets, they're not wearing their hat, they're not wearing anything, and then they're getting soaked, and then they're complaining like, oh yeah, it was rubbish weather today. It was like, no, you should have been dressed appropriately. You should have checked the weather beforehand and said that, okay, this is something which I can make the adjustments to. A lot of guys, they're trying to control things that they can't, so it's really important, guys. Be in control of the things that you can control, and that's part of emotional intelligence, to know that you can control things that is physically you can do, but there's certain things you can't. So that's a clear, important distinction there, guys. So when you're in a relationship, a woman can see that as well and can sense that, okay, this guy here, he knows full well he has power over the things he can control, and he's not trying to, force me to do something. You never want to force a woman to do anything. You want to explain to her and give her instructions and tell her, look, this is the way I want you to do things and stuff like that. But if a woman's trying to say, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do that, this and that, and then you're trying to box her into a corner, that's never going to work, guys. And that relationship ends up becoming toxic. So that's what happens. Next point is respond. So in life, right, you want to always respond to things. Don't be that type of guy who's reacting. So a lot of guys, they're always reacting on a day-to-day thing, day-to-day activities. So they're reacting to people at work. They're reacting to a woman saying something. If a woman says something like silly, right, you shouldn't be reacting straight away. You should just, like, certain times, you just don't even take her seriously. Do you understand? And it goes back to the playfulness side of it. Do you understand? Just give her a little, a gesture, give her a hug or whatever the case is. And then that's all she needs to to become feminine again. Certain times women can be moody and they can be argumentative, and certain times women can be difficult to be around. Do you understand? But you don't react to what she's behaving and how her emotions are fluctuating. You as a man need to be solid in who you are as a person, and then that way there, you know full well that if this woman's behaving this way, you're solid in who you are, and then the woman will effectively see that and be like, oh yeah, she'll calm down then. Do you understand? Because she knows full well, right, my husband here, he's in control here. He's responding to certain situations and he's not reacting. So if you get bad news, right, of whatever the case is, don't just be going into panic mode and start saying, start shouting, swearing and all these kind of things here. Woman sees that and is like, this guy here is weak. Do you understand? It's a small little calamity, a small little, trial, and guys are just crumbling. And this is what the problem is. Women sense this and they sense weakness. So that guy there, he's not emotionally intelligent. A guy who's emotionally intelligent, he's able to control himself. Yes, all of us in general, we're going to have certain moments where we're not perfect. We're going to, lash out or, get angry or whatever the case is. But you need to limit that, guys. It's not a situation where you're just doing that on a day-to-day thing. Because then that way there, you don't have emotional intelligence then. Somebody with high amount of emotional intelligence, he very rarely, lashes out or, his emotions become overwhelmed. But, he's somebody who is able to control himself and he's able to respond to situations. So if he gets a situation or a challenge in front of him, he's like, okay, how can I respond to that now? Okay, cool. This is what's happened now. I need to respond to this now. Never be that guy who's just reacting to it. And that way that you're just doing things on impulse, and then you're going to start to make incorrect decisions in life. Next point is communication. So emotional intelligence, communication is so important. So communication needs to be at the forefront of everything. Do you understand? So when a woman is in your presence, whenever you speak to both men and women, your communication needs to be solid. It can't be where you're giving instructions, right, and then they mix signals and then they're not clear instructions and they just waffle and you're just babbling on. A lot of guys, what they're doing, they just talk so much nonsense here. And then when it comes down to telling a woman a basic thing like, oh yeah, please can you, move that car from A to B. Yeah, instead of doing that, he's like, oh yeah, can you go this direction and make sure that you turn on the engine and then, take off the handbrake and all these kind of things. It's like, you're just overcomplicating the situation. So the car one, that's just an example. I'm not just like saying, oh yeah, that's what it is. That's an example. But guys, what they do is they're getting into all the details. They start saying, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. And it's just like, just give one instruction and be like, oh yeah, from A to B and that's it. Do you understand? So if it's like a day-to-day activity, if you want your woman to pick the kids up from school or something like that, just drop it as in like, oh yeah, I need you to pick the kids up at like 4 p.m. That's it. It shouldn't be a whole fat paragraph and you're saying X, Y, Z and you've got all this other rubbish in there and then you're saying, oh yeah, we need to do this with the kids and we need to do that with the kids. It's like, no, keep it nice and simple. That's what it is in life, right? Keeping things nice and simple goes so far. Do you understand? The words that I use in this video, for example, I don't use complicated words and I don't use words which guys will not understand. Do you understand? I keep it nice and simple for everyone. So that way there, all people from different walks of life can understand this message. It's not going to be for a certain set of people who are not, let's say, as well educated. Do you understand? In terms of vocabulary. So that's what it is, guys. Your communication needs to be important and your communication goes through body language as well. So that's what we're going to be discussing in the next point. But that's what it is. It's part of your communication, so your body language as well. So communication skills need to be developed through each and every single day. So every single day you should be constantly working on yourself and leveling yourself up. And that way there you're going to be able to improve your communication skills. And then you're going to be able to come across different people of society and you're going to be able to communicate effectively with them. And then that way you can build a relationship with them. And then the final point is body language. Now, body language is very, very important. So it's around 80 to 90% or something like that when it comes to displaying to a woman her level of attraction towards you. Now, a lot of guys, right, within the first 3 to 5 seconds, their body language is so poor, it's bad. They're shrugging. They're people who, are displaying low confidence. They're not people who are, standing firm in who they are as a man. These are all turn-offs for women. Women sense that, and they see weakness, and they're like, this guy here is not confident in himself. It goes back to the confidence side of it. The guy's not confident because his body language is showing that this guy here is not somebody who I should even be speaking to. A guy with high confidence with himself and good body language, they go hand in hand. Do you understand? So a guy with high confidence, he's going to have good body language. It doesn't matter, for example, if he's, slouching on the chair, yeah, and then when he's slouching on the chair, and then the rest of the time he's behaving and having a correct posture. You need to have correct posture all the time. Do you understand? As much as you can, pretty much. That's what it is. So then that way there you're building, routine. And then with that, right, that displays to people as well and lets them know that you're sure within yourself. And then this guy here, I can come to this guy and speak to him. And actually, this guy here is likely to provide valuable information. Do you understand? A lot of guys, their communication's poor, their body language is poor, and then they're complaining and they're saying, oh yeah, I'm not getting women, or women don't want to talk to me. It's like, no, you need to assess yourself and see like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Do you understand? It always goes back to oneself. Accountability is so important. Women, unfortunately, obviously they don't take into self accountability as much, but us as men, right, we're logical creatures. Do you understand? So us as the leaders, I'm targeting predominantly all the men in my videos. Do you understand? Because I know full well, right, once I get the men in line and once I get men correct, right, and start behaving correctly, women will fall in line as well. Do you understand? Men are complaining about the women in society, but men need to take accountability and need to see that we are the ones who are actually in control here. So our body language, our communication, our responding, and then our control, these are all things that we can, ourselves, we can control. And then that way there, we're able to effectively navigate through relationships. And then the woman sees that and the women see that and they want to replicate our same behavior because they know that, this guy here is a leader. So that's what it is. So when a woman starts to really fall in love with a guy, she'll start to like mimic certain gestures that guy does, certain actions, the way he talks. These are all things here that when a woman has a high attraction for, because that guy there is displaying high confidence. So when it comes to your communication, for example, use hand movement. When I see a lot of guys in the videos, right, they're just talking like this, for example. I'll give you an example. They're talking like this, today's topic of discussion. It's just, that's not even engaging, that's nothing. It's just that these guys, how can you even communicate like that and expect a guy to take you seriously? You understand? So like you need to be constantly flowing and in movement. So whenever you're communicating and whenever you're speaking to both men and women. So that's really important, guys. So just to wrap up, control. So you as a man, you can only control things that you are in control of. Yeah, you can only control your behavior and your actions. You cannot force a woman to do anything. Do you understand? And try and control her. That right there is abusive and that's toxic, and that will lead to long-term problems because the woman will start to become more and more disobedient. And then the more you keep pressing her, right, she's gonna end up leaving. Do you understand? So you want to leave with your self-respect at all times. Do not be that type of guy who's trying to control these women and try and dictate how she behaves. You can only control yourself. Do you understand? And then a woman sees that and sees that this guy is a great example, a great leader. And he's not somebody who's trying to force me to do anything. Do you understand? And she will want to cooperate with you. And she will want to sit down with you and be like, oh yeah, I want to learn as much as I can from this man. Do you understand? Because he's the leader in a relationship and she's respecting you so much now. You understand, guys? And then the next point after that was respond. So be that type of guy who's responding in life. Do not be that guy who reacts to everyday, day-to-day activities or little, tedious things. Do you understand? You want to be that guy who's logically thinking first and then he's responding to situations, yeah, and he's taken the calculated measures in accordance to those situations. Do you understand? And then the next point after that was communication. So you always want to develop your communication skills, always want to speak to multiple different people, and then your communication will get better. Do you understand? Your eye contact, how you move your hands and so on, your posture, your body language, all these kind of things, they all matter. Do you understand? And when they all matter, that right there attracts women, and then they see that and they're like, oh, this guy here is secure within himself. He's somebody with high confidence and he's somebody who I want to be with. And then the final point was body language. So communication and body language go hand in hand. If a guy is just like sat here, yeah, and then he's just like this, you know, all crossed up, and he's just somebody who is not making eye contact, he's just like, you know, looking down, he's like, oh, you know, I don't really want to talk to this guy. That's what guys think when they see a guy who with poor body language. Like, this guy here, he doesn't even care about what I'm doing. So certain times when a guy's communicating with you, like, you need to nod. You need to be like, yeah, okay, you know, you acknowledge what he's saying. Yeah, don't just be that guy who's just giving a straight face to him, and then the guy's just thinking like, what the hell is going on? Like, this guy, man, I don't even want to talk to him anymore. And women sense that as well. And this is what it is. Women see that. You think women are not going to sense that? A lot of these guys, right, when they see, you know, attractive women or whatever the case is, yeah, women straight away know, like, oh yeah, these other guys. We know guys who are confident and guys who are not confident, and guys who've got good body language and guys who don't have good body language. You know, women ain't stupid, guys. So a lot of guys just think, oh yeah, you know, these women who, you know, looks wise, some of them are like, you know, a bit stupid, but a lot of them, they're not stupid, you know, they're flipping got brain, trust me. You know, they can sense and they can see that because God has given that within them. They can sense a guy who's weak and a guy who's got good body language. You understand? So that's emotional intelligence, guys. I hope that makes sense. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.